Hey, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopefully elect. So, breaking news coming out: Cuba is on blackout. The whole island, 10 million plus people without power, no electricity. So out there right now, it's complete darkness. And this right here, if nothing else, should show you that the time that we're living in, as the scriptures say, in the last days, perilous times shall come. The time that we're living in is very fragile. Things can happen just all of a sudden. One moment, things can be good. The next minute, it can be all hell breaking loose. That's the nature of living in these last days. Things are very uncertain. But to hopefully we know what to look forward to. We know what's coming through the spirit because we're tapped into prophecy. We're tapped into Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So we have the insight. We have the oil to see what is coming on this earth. We've been warning you for a long time. Brothers have been, bringing it out. Whistleblowers coming out telling you that before the election, a grid outage is going to occur. Now, this has been brought out from multiple sources. Whether it happens before the election or after the election, they do plan on shutting the grid down. And it wouldn't surprise me if what's going on in Cuba is a test run for what they want to do to the whole of America. All right. And earlier this year as well, you had Cuba. A lot's been going on in Cuba. All right. But they're getting ready to reset that system down there to roll out the MOTB. All right. This is what all these things are leading to. All roads lead to the MOTB. Earlier this year as well, remember in Cuba, they had a bank blackout where the banks were shut down. ATMs were not functional. People couldn't get money. People couldn't do nothing out there. All right, now you see this going on. So it says here, Havana, the electricity went out Friday in Cuba, affecting the entire island's population of 10 million after one of its main power plants failed, according to Cuba's energy ministry. On Friday evening, authorities announced power had been restored to about 20,000 residents of the capital, Havana, which has a population of 2 million. Power outages have been chronic in Cuba for years and have worsened in recent months, but the situation was so critical in the past 3 days that the government took measures to keep the lights on. On Thursday night, it announced schools would close and most state workers would stay home Friday in an effort to conserve energy. But it wasn't enough, and by 11 a.m. Friday, Antonio Guterres Thermoelectric, the largest power plant, went offline, causing a grid failure. The communist-run country's aging and decrepit infrastructure has frequent outages because of difficulties with maintenance and lack of fuel. In some provinces outside Havana, many people have been facing blackouts that last up to 20 hours at a time. Damn. So imagine, out there, it seems like they pretty used to it. It seems like this is a regular thing that happens, but nonetheless, whether they're used to it or not, a time is going to come where these blackouts are going to be so severe because they talking about 20 hours. All right, these blackouts are going to be going on for days, weeks at a time, and it's not going to be any immediate help to assist the people. Understand? And the same thing is coming to America as well. This is biblical prophecy, man. When you read 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, what the Lord said that he would, punish Egypt with plagues as before, roughly paraphrasing. So what was one of the plagues that the Lord brought on ancient Egypt? Well, it was a plague of darkness. Okay, it was a plague of, people not being able to see one another. Okay, not even being able to see their hand in front of their face. That's how dark that the Lord plagued Egypt. Right, the same thing is coming back, and you're already seeing these things occur in certain parts of the world, but it is coming to America, Babylon the Great. All right, let's check this out.
Vamos. Muy fuerte, muy fuerte. Muy fuerte. Esto está en decadencia. Y cada vez más apagones, más apagones. Imagínense usted. Esto está ya a punto del colapso entero.
So you heard what he said? He said that basically these blackouts are happening more and more. And as we read in the article, pretty much the infrastructure out there in Cuba is so old that these blackouts are regular occurrence. But as you heard this gentleman in the video just say, that this is on the verge of total collapse, okay, which is what they want, right? Because it's, a time is coming where it's not going to be a blackout for 10 or 20 hours, all right? You're going to be having blackouts for days, okay, weeks. Resources are going to be stretched thin. People are going to get desperate. And that's when the government is going to come in and they're going to say, we have a solution. And that solution is going to be the MOTB. Remember that this thing is going to come upon all the world, okay? Rich and poor, free and bond, small and great, all people are going to have to be faced with this mark, right? Let's go to TikTok.
11 a.m. this morning, October 18th, 2024, the entire electrical grid in the country of Cuba has completely gone offline. Now, over the last several weeks, Cuba has had an increasingly difficult time keeping the power on in the country due to an extreme shortage of fuel used to power their electrical grid. There have been rolling blackouts across the country for the last several weeks, and just yesterday the Prime Minister got on television and told the country that they would be turning off the electricity for anything that was deemed non-essential. So basically anything that was not a hospital or government facility of some sort that was critical to continuing to run the country would be shut off. This plan has failed as at around 11 a.m. one of the thermoelectric plants shut off unexpectedly, plunging the entire country into darkness. Now, it is currently unknown when authorities will be able to get the power grid back up and running. However, it could take a significant amount of time, which will likely lead to further food shortages and other issues in the country that is.
See that? Food shortages, all right? People not going to be working. People are not going to be able to have running water. Quality. Listen, one thing about it, when you don't have power and electricity, especially in the time that we live in now, it's pretty much standard to have electricity, all right, in your home. Like, you need electricity to run this society. In the event that a complete blackout, because in Cuba, they'll have regional blackouts in certain areas where power will be will just go out all of a sudden. But this time it happened to the whole country of Cuba. The whole nation is blacked out and they don't even know when the power is coming back on. You see? So this is a major deal. And like you just heard this guy say, this is going to, put strain on resources, man. Food, all right? The stores, food is going to spoil in the stores depending on how long that this blackout lasts. All right, so something is definitely being set up here in these certain nations that are having these problems, because Cuba's not the only one. All right, Cuba's not the only one. Like, it's happening in multiple places. I know in Australia, blackouts are also occurring. All right, so America Babylon the Great is definitely next. Could that be part of that October surprise that Hillary Clinton was speaking of? We'll see. But we're in a time that, once again, is very delicate, very fragile. Things can happen at any given moment, just all of a sudden. This is why it's important to always watch and be circumspect, to always pay attention to what's going on and tap into things that a lot of people ignore.
Significant amount of time, which will likely lead to further food shortages and other issues in the country that is currently embargoed by the United States.
And that too. Cuba is also embargoed by the United States. So they're not receiving any type of goods from America, right? And not only America, I'm pretty sure that anybody that America's allied with, they're not sending nothing to Cuba as well, all right? I'm pretty sure Cuba, because they're, a so-called communist nation, that they plugged in with Russia and China, so they getting goods from there. But you got to ship that stuff halfway across the world, and if you don't have electricity, you can't run the ports to receive stuff. All right, so right now everything in Cuba is shut down. You know what I'm saying? It's critical out there. All right, that whole power grid is on the brink of collapse. Okay.
On a hot, humid night in the heart of the Caribbean, Cuba plunged into darkness. A massive power outage has swept across the entire island, leaving more than 10 million people without electricity. The blackout has affected every corner of the country, from the bustling streets of Havana to the quiet, rural communities. Homes, hospitals, and essential services all came to a halt. Families sit by candlelight, wondering when the lights will return, while food spoils in refrigerators and water systems fail. Officials say the cause is a breakdown in the island's aging power grid, already strained by years of neglect and economic hardship. Many are left questioning how long this crisis will last. As the nation struggles to regain power, the people of Cuba endure yet another hardship in their ongoing fight for stability. But as the island sits in darkness, one thing is clear. This is not just a blackout. It's a reminder of a fragile system hanging by a thread. For now, Cuba waits, hoping the light will soon return.
I recently got asked why I love traveling with EF Ultimate Break, and it's easy.
I just got a notification from the New York Times, an article. I read it, so you don't have to. The entire country of Cuba has no power. I've heard how this sort of thing can happen. Apparently, it has happened. Can it be turned on as quickly as it was turned off? Can Elon Musk step in with Starlink? I am totally serious, by the way. At least in the 90s, I remember, if there was an electricity outage or whatever, walk to Barnes and Noble. It's not like there's a bookstore to walk to. So, of course, I'm thinking, what if that happens to us? I don't know about you guys, but I have not had a landline since 2008, 9, 10, something like that. I think about food in my fridge, how long before it goes bad. It's not like I can use my microwave for any bag of popcorn or something like that. My problems just got right-sized real quick.
And see, that's the thing about it too. All right. When the power goes out, there's a domino effect of things that occur. Number one, of course, you don't have any power. All right. Which having electricity, that's comfort for a lot of people, because pretty much everything in your home runs off of some sort of electricity. Okay. Whether it be your refrigerator, whether it be the microwave, whether it be the oven, TV, thermostat, everything needs power to operate, and that's dependent upon the grid being functioning. Without a functioning grid, this whole society collapse. All right. Even the gas stations, without electricity, you can't even get gas at the gas station because everything is automated. Everything is connected to the grid. So in that case, people that got food in their fridge, that's going to spoil. Okay. The food that's in the supermarkets, that's going to spoil as well. You see, people are not going to be able to conduct business because business now is pretty much, run digitally. Okay. People have these contactless payments. People have cards. People aren't really using cash like that. So in the event of a complete nationwide outage, business is going to stop. Okay. So a lot of things can, stop due to a power outage. So this is a very strategic thing that these elites are setting up. All right. Because this is the perfect scenario that the elites can use to usher in this new system. All right. Which, once again, whistleblowers have came out and confirmed this is exactly what the elites want to do. All right. They're going to hard reset the system. You see, right now, them people in Cuba, they still don't have no power, and they're not sure when it's going to come back. You see, but here in America, it's even worse because this is a, so-called first world country. You know what I mean? Where pretty much people have a certain quality of life that they're comfortable to live. People got hot showers. People have all these luxuries and conveniences that a lot of people in other nations don't have. All right. So people here in America, once they lose the power, once they lose the ability to exercise their wickedness in the society, things going to get bad. All right, resources are going to get scarce, of course. All right, people are going to get frantic because, of course, a lot of people ain't even paying attention to what's going on. These things are going to hit people all of a sudden, and they're not going to be prepared, which, really nobody's prepared for what's coming. We just got to hope and pray that Yahweh Basham will have mercy on us in these times, man. All right, because there's really no amount of prepping that you can do to prepare yourself for these times. All right, really, the Lord just has to be with you, man. Like the Lord just has to grant you grace and mercy to get through. All right, but a lot of these preppers, a lot of these people that put their trust in storing up goods and storing up guns and ammo and stuff like that, they're gonna be the ones that's gonna be affected the most because their hope and their expectation it's all gonna fail. And ultimately, the Lord is gonna send spirits of vengeance against them to cut them down from their pride. You see. So ultimately, the answer to all this is to fear the Lord, right? Because ultimately, the Lord is the one that gives light and he creates the darkness, okay? So the Lord is in control of all things. Let's continue.
I don't know if all the moms think like this, but I always think as long as my son is okay, I can survive anything. Anything. I'm staying alive. And I love my baby so much. Just a sidestep real quick. I called him last night and
Okay, we don't gotta get no more of that, but you get the point, man. People gonna turn to animals out here. Okay, once resources, get to that level to where uh it's not really it's not going to be comfortable, man. That's the bottom line. It's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be a very nice time to be operating if you're not in the spirit of Yahweh Basham Yahushai, okay? Because that animalistic nature in people, that's going to come to the forefront, all right? It tells you in 2nd Ezra 15-16 that people are going to have no pity on their neighbor. It's going to be no mercy out here. All right, people not going to give a damn if you're young or old. If you got something that they want, then they coming to take it from you. And guess what? They going to die trying. All right, because desperate times call for desperate measures. So people are going to be in that mindset. Hey, look, I gotta eat. My baby is crying. You know what I'm saying? Like I need food. All right. And the first places in a blackout that's going to be hit are these storehouses. Okay, it tells you in 2nd Ezra 6:24 that the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right. Now, first, from a grid blackout, that can cause a famine. All right, because all these processing plants, they're gonna shut down. A lot of those goods in there are gonna spoil and have to be discarded. All right, then that's gonna trickle down to the truckers not having work. All right, ships at the ports are gonna be stocked, piled up. It ain't gonna be nothing moving out here. All right, so hey, we're in a very delicate time where we have to watch and pray. All right, let's get some scriptures. 1 Peter 4:7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. Yeah, so we are to watch and be sober. Okay, be vigilant in these times because things are happening. The Lord is manifesting the end right now. All right. We don't know how much time is left, but we see that everything that the Lord said would happen in these last days, they're all coming to pass. Okay. So this is a time more than ever to, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, understanding what time it is. We go into these things day in and day out. So this should be firmly beaten within your spirit that, now is not playtime. Things are deadly serious right now. A lot of people are feeling the heat, man. All right, but these things are coming to Babylon the Great. Make no doubt about it. Ephesians 5:14. Let me get the whole chapter. Ephesians 5 And 14, wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Yahushua shall give thee light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Yeah, these are some evil days that we're in, perilous times. All right, things are very uncertain. People are on edge already. You know, you have war, you have rumors of famine coming. Okay, you have a worsening economy. The dollar is going out. You see, you have foreign invaders. You know what I'm saying? You have Esau looking to stage a fake alien invasion. You have so much going on to the point where it's really hard to keep up with. Okay, but still, we have to redeem the time. See, we have to look at what's going on and say, hey, you know what? This is happening. This is happening. This is going on. Let me, gird up my loins. Okay, let me put on the full armor of Yahweh Bashim Shai, that I may be able to withstand the wiles of the devil. Verse 17, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. And the will of the Lord is for Babylon the Great to be taken down. Okay, not only Babylon the Great, but really for this whole, all, how can I say this? Really for all of the heathen nations to be taken down. Okay, the Lord, this is the time of the end, man. So the Lord is going to be breaking down all these nations systematically, you see? But especially Babylon the Great, because this is really the place where the Lord has his eye fixated on. All right? So, hey, it's going to be especially bad here. It really is already bad in these other nations, man, but things are ramping up to get worse, right? Understanding what the will of the Lord is, and be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit. Yeah, so we supposed to be watching and praying always, man. Hoping that we're counted worthy to escape these things coming upon the earth. All right, because just like how the Lord brought darkness on ancient Egypt, guess what? Now he's going to bring darkness again on this modern day spiritual Egypt. All right, this is Exodus chapter 10, and I believe that's 20. Let me go up. Yeah, Exodus chapter 10 and verse 20. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. And Pharaoh called unto Moses and said, go ye, serve the Lord. Only let your flocks and your herds be stayed. Let your little ones also go with you. So the Lord brought a severe plague of darkness, okay, for 3 days. All right, 3 days and three nights. Okay, it was darkness in the land of Egypt. All right, darkness so bad, in fact, that it could be felt. Now, just imagine that darkness that you can feel on you. Now, that's utter gross darkness. Now, that's scary. Just imagine being in the dark, like you hearing stuff move around. You might be feeling something crawl up on you. People were so afraid that they didn't even move out their place. All right. They didn't even want to move, man. Like, that's how dark that it was. You couldn't see nothing. Guess what? The Lord is bringing that same plague of darkness back on this place, man. All right. And it's prophecy. You see? So, hey, these are the things that are happening within the earth. All right. It's happening in Cuba. It's happening in Australia. Okay, it's happening in certain other parts of the earth, but it's coming to America, Babylon the Great. And it's not just going to be one city. It's going to be the whole grid. All right. Remember when you watch that movie, what's the name of that? Leave the World Behind. Hey, there was a whole East Coast blackout. You see, there was a whole East Coast blackout, man. And, in that movie, it said that it was due to hackers. Okay, so these are the things that are about to come forth. Like Esau already showed you in the films what he's about to do. All right, and it's already happening in certain parts of the earth. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out here. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying through the Rakakadash. Call halal Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Until next time, Lord willing, shalom to the elect. Come Yasha'Allah in the Bible ball. Shalom.